All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below in the description so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO gym, and the QBO gym is a place where we have numerous and varied exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises and we break it down for you into 4 different sections. So today we are going to be working in the September strength training section where we really focus on prepayments. At the top here is a little animated video to tell you what's going on in Craig's world that month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is an interactive quiz to test your knowledge that relates to the video above. And then further down below all of are the exercises within that section. So today we are going to practice receiving unearned income from customers. You will need to be in the sample company. If you're not sure how to get into it or how to get your own free QBOA account, just go ahead and click on the link below. If you did the previous exercise where we were practicing receiving payment method from customers, you need to close out of that sample company session and sign back in because you need to be working in a new session of the sample company. It's the same scenario. We are just showing you a different way that you would be doing it. So you need to have a completely new session of the sample company for this. So our scenario, as we discussed previously, Craig landed his first snow removal client, Cool Cars. Craig will be clearing their customer parking lot and the sidewalks at the dealership. Craig needs to spend a lot of cash up front on casual labor, ice melt, and rock salt. So he wants to require a prepayment for all of these snow removal customers. Craig decides to collect an upfront deposit of $1,000 from Cool Cars and asks you to bill against it as the services are delivered. So in the previous exercise, we already covered the receive payment method, and so now we are going to go through the more correct unearned income method. So once again, please double check that you are working in a brand new session of the sample company. You need to be in a new one for this exercise. So because it is the more correct and GAAP compliant, which stands for generally acceptable accounting principles. There we go. The unearned income method is best used when there's outside reporting or a large number of deposits, retainers involved. It's also useful when the deposit will be used over multiple accounting periods since it doesn't require a journal entry. So with snow removal, there's usually snow removed in December and then the following year in January. So assuming that their accounting period starts at the very beginning of January and ends at the end of December, in this scenario, the unearned deposit method works well, or unearned income method, works well. So there are several steps that are required in order to set up to receive deposits using this method. First, we need to go in the account settings to adjust that, and then a liability account must be created in the chart of accounts, and then finally a service item is set up to be tied to that liability account. So let's go ahead and get started. To do the unearned deposit method, we need to turn off that feature in QBO that automatically applies credits to open invoices. So to do that, click on the gear icon and then select Account and Settings. So here I am in the sample company. This is the dashboard. On the top right corner is a gear icon. Click on that. Under your company, select Account and Settings. And you will see this show up for you. We need to click on the Advanced tab, the Advanced tab, and then we need to click into the Automation section to make it editable. So over here on the left-hand side, click on Advanced, and then over here in this automation, this is the one we're looking for, this automatically apply bill payments. It's currently on. Just go ahead and click anywhere in this to make it editable. And now we need to click on the toggle next to automatically apply bill payments so that it turns off. And you'll know that it's off by turning gray. So here's that automatically apply bill payments. Click on that little toggle there. You will see that it is now gray, so it is off, which is what we want. So go ahead and click on the green save button here. And then we can go ahead and exit out of this. You can click on the X on the top right corner, or you can click on the green Done button. And that setting has been saved for us. So now we will set up the liability account to track the customer deposits on the balance sheet. Liabilities are things that Craig owes. So in this case, it represents work that Craig owes his customers. So to get into the chart of accounts in the left-hand nav bar, we mouse over transactions and then select chart of accounts. So over here on the left nav bar, here is transactions, hover over that and then select chart of accounts. And as I mentioned, we need to create a new one. So we're going to click on New, which is the green button over here. Click on that one, and you will see the new account information appear. This is a liability account we are creating, so we need to click on the liabilities icon. So let's do that first. That's over here. It's got like the little dollar sign with the up arrow. So click on that. A Save Account Under field, we're going to select Other Current Liabilities. So select that one, click into that, and then click on Other Current Liabilities. The tax form section is going to be Deferred Revenue. So deferred revenue right there. And then the account name, we're going to have this as Customer Deposits. So click into account name and then type in Customer Deposits. There we go. If you need more information about this account, you can always add it here in this description. But if your account name is pretty self-explanatory, which this one is, we don't need a description. So we're done creating this. All we need to do is click on the green Save button. And that account has been done for us. So now we need to set up the service item specifically to track the customer deposits. It's going to be tied to that customer deposits liability account that we just created. So to get to products and services, again, click on the gear icon and then select products and services. So over here, click on the gear icon there, and then under list, select products and services. And then as I mentioned, we need to create a new one. So we are going to click on the green New button, which is over here on the right-hand side. Click on that. This is going to be a service item. So we need to click on Service, which is right here. And now we just need to fill it out. So, oops, went too far. The name field here is going to be customer deposits. So let's go ahead and click into that and type that in. Customer deposits. Deposits. Okay. I always have to check myself when I spell deposits. That's just one of those words that's a little harder for me. In the income account field, we're going to select customer deposits as well. This is the liability account that we just created. And I know that might sound a little confusing why you would have a liability account selected in something called income account. This is where you tie it to. So there is the equity, liabilities, expenses, income, all of the accounts are through here. So you can go ahead and just click into it and start typing in customer for customer deposits. There it is. We need to make this non-taxable. So to do that, we need to click on the Edit Sales Tax, and then at the bottom of that window, select Non-Taxable. So here is that little blue link that says Edit Sales Tax. Click on that, and then scroll down until you get to Non-Taxable. Click on the little button next to it. And if you go scroll back up to the top, there we go, click on the back button or the link there, and you will see that it has been saved as non-taxable. And now we simply just need to save and close this. So let's go ahead and do that. Click on the green Save and Close button. And now that service has been created and saved for us. Once this step is complete, Craig will be ready to take any customer deposits that he wants. The reporting of these customer deposits will be GAAP compliant. So now we can use the unearned income method to accept Cool Car's $1,000 deposit. We'll then issue the first snow removal invoice and then use the deposit to pay for it. So let's do all of these steps within the customer's account. To get to it in the left-hand nav bar, we need to mouse over customers and leads and then select customers. So over here on the left-hand side, here is customers and leads. Hover over that and then select customers. And now we need to click on Cool Cars from the customer list because we want to issue that sales receipt first to record that $1,000 deposit. So here is Cool Cars. Go ahead and click on that anywhere on that line for their name. If you happen to get any pop-ups that show up, just go ahead and click out of them. QBO is just trying to be extra helpful. We are going to create that sales receipt by clicking on New Transaction and then select Sales Receipt. So over here, the green New Transaction button, click on that and then select Sales Receipt. And this has populated for us. We don't need to go searching for the customer because it is already shown up for us because we did this through the customer profile. So it's just a nice little thing to do it this way because it's one less step. Even if it's a very small step, it's still one less step and helps streamline the process. So it's just nice to know these other shortcuts and how to do things like what we are doing here in this exercise. So in the deposit to field, we're going to select checking. Deposit to checking. In the product service field, we're going to select customer deposits. This will add money to our customer deposits account that we created that we will draw from later. So let's go ahead and put that in here. If you click into it 2 times, you'll actually see, for me, customer deposits is right there at the top. So I'm going to click on that. The amount is $1,000 because that is what they paid for their deposit. So click into the amount, type in 1,000, tab over. You see that it has been captured by QBO. And now we are simply just going to save and close. So click on the little arrow down here, select Save and Close. And there we go. That sales receipt, that $1,000 deposit has now been saved or has been recorded. You could see that right here. It has been added to their activity. So you know that that sales receipt was saved and recorded. So now we're going to invoice Cool Cars for snow removal. In the same exact place that we did it before, click on the New Transaction and then select Invoice. So New Transaction and now select Invoice. And again, their information is all showing for us, which is great. In the product service field, we're going to select landscaping maintenance and repair. So click into it 2 times. And if you start typing in maintenance, there it is. That you can click on that service there. In the description field, we're going to put this as snow removal. So highlight over it, delete it, and then type in snow removal. And then the amount for this one is going to be $200. So click into the amount field, type 200. If you tab over, you see that it's been captured here. And just a note here, we are invoicing them because we are assuming that Craig has given them some snow removal services at this point. And so that is why we are creating this invoice. It's for the $200 that he has for the snow removal that he has just done for them. So now we just simply need to save and close. So click on the little arrow down here. You can click on Save and Close. Now that invoice has been saved. You see here, this says invoice for $200. It says it's due in 30 days. You will notice here that it's not showing as it's been paid. It's not showing that it's pulling from that deposit that we had made right here. So to show that, we actually need to create that credit memo. That is the final task to issue it to pay for the open snow removal invoice from the deposit. So very easy to do. Once again, go to that new transaction and then select credit memo. So new transaction, down here you will see credit memo, click on that and you will see this show up for you. We're going to again put that customer deposit. This is the same, we're using the same service that we used for the deposit. So the deposit, we put it under customer deposits. We want it to pull from there. So that is why in the credit memo, we are putting in that product service field the same account, that customer deposits. So go ahead and click into it 2 times. You should see customer deposits right there at the top. Click on that. And then the amount is going to be the same amount for that invoice because again, that invoice is $200. We want to pull $200 from the $1,000, and this is the way to do it through the credit memo. So type in $200 in the amount, 200, tab over. You will see that it has been created for us here. And now we are simply going to save and close. So click on the little arrow down here, select save and close. And now that credit memo has been saved. You will see that now if we look at the account, you will see the sales receipt, that's deposit. You will see the invoice for the snow removal services for $200, the credit memo that we just created, which shows that the invoice was paid because they applied that amount, that $1,000 that was paid, it was applied there. And this is just QBO saying that the payment was made. I will note here, though, and I'll probably talk about in this next slide, that there's no way to see in that customer profile that there is still $800 remaining on that deposit. We can see the original $1,000 deposit and the $200 invoice, and we can see that the invoice has been paid, but there's no balance displaying $800 as there was in the receive payment method. So where can we find it? Well, that will be in reporting. One more thing here too that I want to come back and say here, or just note here, we'll see how that all those transactions are reflected in reporting. So it's much easier to see how much money we are holding in customer deposits and the balance we have for each customer. So that's where we're going to go look and see how we can find out that there's $800 remaining as a deposit. So to do that, we need to look at some reports, specifically the balance sheet. It will reflect all the customer deposits that Craig is holding and the balance for each customer. So to get to this, we need to go to the report center. We simply need to click on reports to get there. So on the left-hand side here is reports, click on that. And now, as I mentioned, we need to go to the balance sheet. So we are just going to click on that. It's under favorites, click on balance sheet, and it automatically gets run for us. So in the liabilities and equity section of the balance sheet, we will see the customer deposits account. The total of all customer deposits are included in here. But since we are only holding Cool Car's deposit right now, that's the only one that is showing. But we can find out more details by clicking into it. So we're going to click the 800 that's there. So scroll down here. Here's all the liabilities and equity section, other current liabilities. That's what we had saved it under. And here is that customer deposits. So over here, you say $800. We're going to click on that so that we can see more information. If we click on the amount in the balance sheet, you will see a detailed transactions that comprise of the customer deposits account, which is what we just did. So we're going to switch this to a classic view so that we can see everything on one screen. This is, of course, as you're doing bookkeeping, this is by your own preference. You may want to keep it the way it was in that modern view versus this classic view. But it's just, for me personally, I like the classic view because it's so much easier to see everything on one particular screen. So just keep that in mind. It's not a have to do when you're doing reports, but something that's definitely you will find as a bookkeeper what your preference is. So let's go back to the exercise and take a look. We will see the initial $1,000 deposit from Cool Cars. We can also see the $200 of that deposit was spent as recorded by the credit memo. So therefore, Cool Cars has $800 remaining on deposit with Craig that can be used against future snow removal invoices. The trick for you is to remember to apply the deposit funds to each invoice. So here's that $1,000. Here's that $200 or $1,000 deposit. That $200 that was paid off that invoice, and then that balance of $800. So, if you're in real life, if you're working with customers that make deposits often, you may want to run these reports just to go back and see that there is how much is of balance, so that you know how much of a credit you have, the credit memo, how much you can do for that. So this report might have several different customers on it, which if it did, it may be more useful to sort it by customer because right now it's just sorted as customer deposits. So we're going to create a customized report for this for future reference. To do that, you're going to click on Customize. That's over here, this button right here, click on that. In the group by field, we're going to click on the arrow for the dropdown, then click on customer, and then click run report. So this group by, you're going to click on the arrow to have the dropdown. You're going to click on customer, and then you're going to click on the run report button. And as you will see, when we did that, it is now showing this as cool cars. If there were multiple customers on here, they would all show individually like this, where you could collapse it and expand it. So it's just a nice way to be able to look at reports, especially if you have more than one customer. If you only have one customer that's doing it, it's not as important, but just something nice to know. So let's say that we have this customized report that we are going to use often. There's more customers that are going to be using deposits. Let's go ahead and save this. So just click on Save Customization, which is the green button over here. We need to rename this custom report name, which I think we are going to call Customer Deposit Balances. So on that, Customer Deposit Balances. And then we're going to click on the Save button down here. And so now we have that custom report saved for us. And the nice thing about custom reports is that it's really easy to run that report, not have to refilter and have it organized the way you want it every single time. If it's a custom report that you're going to have to constantly be running, doing it this way makes your life so much easier. So let's go see where you can find it. We're going to click on the Back to Report list, which is over here, this blue link here. And then we're going to click on the tab that says Custom Reports, which is right here. Click on that. And you will see the one, that custom report that we just created, is showing up here. So again, if you are looking for a quick and easy way to run a custom report every single month or weekly or however you need to do it, this is a great place to, a great way to do it without having to, by saving you a lot of work, by creating that custom report, saving it once, and then just coming here to click on it. And that is the unearned income method. And if you have any questions or want to know more about the QBO Gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. We continue our focus on prepayments with our next exercise, where we practice handling vendor deposits. And I will see you in the next video.